the background for that. Hey, this is how like I realized I could sing. This is what I realized I wanted to do. Um, what was that moment like where and you probably mentioned this a little bit where you were like, hey, like I'm about to run with this. Like I have this talent. Like when was that moment, or what was that moment like?
You know, it's really strange because it started when I was young. A lot of things did. The moment that I realized that people pay attention and maybe I should do this was when I was like in elementary school. I wrote a rap and I brought my little journal with me, and people started, they wanted to hear. They gathered around and heard me rap. And then before, like, I had moved, so even before that, I had stood on the playground and started singing, and people gathered around and were listening to me, and they told me to go in front of the class and sing it, and I did. Like, I was young when I realized, okay, God gave me this gift. And then fast forward, um being in musical theater, performing all the time, I just adore the feeling of expressing on stage and expressing in that way. Just a lot of emotion. And I started just doing stuff on YouTube, started making covers, and people pay attention, and people would DM me, people would message me, "Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Keep going, do this." And I didn't realize that people were paying that much attention until one of these K-pop covers that I did on YouTube got like 5,000 views, and I made it all on my phone. Like, it's
Wow.
awful. If you go back and you listen to it now, it's terrible. But I realized at that moment, wow, like, people are listening to me, and
Mm.
maybe I should take this a little more serious. And then pandemic, and everyone's doing their crafts, and then, boom, I got a microphone in pandemic, and here we are.
Yeah, yeah, okay, all right. Sour Patch that just recently dropped, right? In Bel Air, and a little bit before this, we were talking, and I was like, "Yo, this is fire." If you haven't listened to it, you definitely probably should. But so for you, like running with it, right, and taking in bet, like I'm blowing up on YouTube. What is the influences behind your musical, your art?
Yeah, I obviously take from anime. This is actually from an anime, this background. This is my work background, this is my everything background, because I'm a nerd,
Okay,
and why not nerd out everywhere, right?
let's go. Let's get
So
it.
um I I also took from musical artists like Michael Jackson, like I said before, and Aaliyah, and all the gospel that I grew up on. Those really influenced me. I love house music. I love electronic music. And
Hmm.
I don't think a lot of Black people listen to EDM, house, electronic music, but they should. There's a lot of
Yeah.
trailblazers in that genre. And actually, those genres come from our influence. That come from those tribal roots, those heavy drums, those heavy basses, those things. People don't realize that music is great. So I take, you know also with language and stuff, I incorporate, like I said, incorporate that into my music. I just take my life experience and throw it into music, whether it's, anime media that I like, or artists that I love. Like, I just, I don't want to copy them, but they
Mhm.
influence me, they impacted me, and so I'm gonna put that in my art.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate um just kind of even the respect that you have for the different genres, and even you saying like, hey, like a lot of Black people don't know these types of music. Bet let me try to do it, expose it to my friends, and then that's how it's gonna like, I guess in a way blow up. I guess. So I appreciate that. So I want to talk about Sour Patch. I want to talk about like the process, like that made you make it. The inspiration behind it. I know Chad. He worked on it a little bit with you, right? And then he was telling me about it. I'm just like, he was like, "Yo, this is one of the best projects I've ever worked on as far as mixing and mastering." I'm just like, I bet I can't wait to hear it. So, talk about that the experience, that process a little bit.
I Sour Patch is my baby. I wrote this song like now 8 months ago, in June of 2022. And I had just graduated college, and I thought I knew what was going to happen. I thought I knew what direction I was going to go, or what God was leading me to. And one thing about me is I'm going to trust God, even if it looks crazy to other people. So God was taking me, and He still is taking me through this process of where I'm supposed to be. And like He does with most of us, He gives us a little bit at a time. But in our human nature, we freak out. Like, what is going on? I thought we were gonna go this way, and you're telling me to go this way, and now everything's, blah. So I was really confused about my life. The song is called Sour Patch, and even though I don't say the word Sour Patch, I wrote it because I was in a sour patch of life, like everything sucked. And I even say it in my song, like my life is really bad right now and I don't know what to do. So it was really like a conversation between me and God, and just me pouring out my heart to him and being real. It's almost like a prayer in a song. And yeah, I was just real, raw, and honest. And that sat for a really long time before I reached out to Chad, because he had mixed my debut song. And I didn't know who to reach out to for a while because everything was just a mess. And I was like, I know Chad reached back out to me and said, hey, if you want to work again, just let me know. And I was like, I have this amazing song. I don't know if anyone else understands how I want it to sound. And he did,
Yeah.
So we created something really cool. I'm just in love with the song, and a lot of people love it too. And I'm so grateful.
Yo, no, when I first listened to it, it dropped today, right? And I'm like, okay,
It dropped
bet.
last week.
It dropped last
a week
week?
ago.
Wait, no,
Yeah.
no, okay, I'm late to the party. All right, there we go. So when I listened to it, I'm like, I've never really liked music kind of like that, right? But then like when I listen to Sour Patch, I'm like, this is different. This is like I'm not a fan of house music or EDM or like my wife is all of that, right? But so for me, I'm more of a like, yo, let me listen to some heavy like Christian rap music, right? No Big Deal, John Key, all those dudes, right?
Right.
And then when I listen to your song, I'm like, yo, I kind of this feels nice. Like and when you're talking about you said this was a conversation between you and God, I'm just like, yo, I feel that, right? And it seems like, at least when I'm getting the picture in my mind of like when you're having this conversation with God, it seems like life is just happening, right? Just from the fastness of the beat. I'm just like, yo, this is like a really good song. Because lately, even for my own life, I'm just like, I feel like living in New York City, like I feel like everything is just fast, and in the middle of it, I'm just trying to have a conversation with God. And it sometimes you just feel like I don't even know if I'm getting everything out to God, but it's just like with everything going on around me, I'm trying my best to speak to him. So I'm like, yo, this song, I like this, right? If I can play it 1,000 times within a day, I probably will. So
Thank you.
I really, really appreciated your song. And honestly, it makes me look forward to more, right? Because like, if this is your baby, you're gonna have tons of babies like over the course of your career, right? And I'm excited to see like just what happens. But for this is a gift you gave to us, and I appreciate it so much. I'm sure everyone else does too. Yeah, no. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And even just I want to shout out your song Belair too, where like you and I forget who was the feature that you had on it.
Yeah, it's my best friend. She's an up and coming artist too. She's more CHH heavy rap, so I really
Okay.
think you'll like her.
Got
If
you.
if you're okay with listening to some of the females, No Big
Yeah,
Deal is
yeah,
great, but
yeah,
Wande and
yeah.
yeah, Nani with the it's kind of a Nani with the her name's
Yeah.
Kiani. That's my best.
Okay.